Heyo everybody, Haku here with a Shounen anime tier list. I just randomly saw this while on Tier Maker and I was like, oh, this would be cool to talk about these different shonen. So there are some here I haven't watched. I haven't really looked. I've tried to keep from looking. That way I can just genuinely give you my unprepared thoughts on all of these. So yeah, they're not in any particular order. I guess I'll go in the order they are up here. I've probably seen or read most of them, but I'll talk about how much I have seen and read of each of them as I am putting them on the tier list. So yeah, let's see what we have here with shonen anime. I modified this a little. We had S, A, B, C, butt cheeks, and there was like another one that was like totally trash or something, but I changed that to I haven't watched. So yeah, and also note that my thoughts on quality and personal preference are going to differ from some of them, especially like the third one I see here. Starting off with Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, I have watched the first two seasons of the anime before I fell out of it. I read the first like 50 to 70 chapters of the manga. I watched and read for a while, but I kind of fell out of it. I just felt like the explanation for the world and the Titans and stuff. Not getting into spoilers here, but for some of these series, I might get into some spoilers. I won't get into spoilers for Attack on Titan, but I wasn't really that impressed with the explanation of the world or anything like that. It was just kind of whatever. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of mid. I know a lot of people love Attack on Titan, especially now. I think it's in its final season or whatever. I just think it's kind of mid. I don't know, C tier maybe. Like, I don't know if any of these. It's not butt cheeks. It's not butt cheeks, but it's also not that great. Like the comedy that they try to do is awkward at times. It always feels out of place and weird. The characters are usually generally just okay. The like horror and action and the world building was one of the best parts. And then again, the explanation for things kind of took away some of that. So yeah, it's just an okay series. I loved it at first, but I don't know, over time as it kept going on, and I feel like that's probably something you can say about a lot of shonen. Over time as it kept going on, it just kind of declined in quality to me. Next is Black Clover. I have read the first volume of the manga. It's on the shelf back behind me. And I have watched the first 30 some episodes of the anime. And I've liked it so far. I've thought it was okay. A lot of people hated it at first, but then they said it gets amazing. So I really want to get further into it. It's just one of those series where I really want to get to it. I just haven't had time to get to it yet. But what I have gotten to, I've liked. I would put it in B tier. I liked it. I liked it so far. I don't think it's as good as, I don't know, the big three originally. At least the first 30 some episodes or the first volume of the manga. It's not as good as the old big three. It's not even as good as I would say maybe even like Fairy Tail or one of the side ones. But I have heard it does get better. And for what it was alright. Bleach is going to be such a hard one to justify because my opinion on Bleach has always been this. The writing quality is below average. Like decidedly below average. But the world that it's set in is just so fun. And for some reason, even though the writing quality was below average, I just got so sucked into the characters, into the power system. Like, I'm putting it in S tier because I love Bleach. It is so good. It's just, again, it's so good, but it's so bad at the same time. I have no idea how to justify it. Like I said, the writing is not great, but I don't know if it's the character designs, the world and the power system is like one of my favorites ever. I don't know, there's just something about it that draws me to it, that I love, even though it's not that good. Now actually, what the hell is, oh, I think that's Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist, I watched the first season of the anime, like way back when it came out, and then it felt like it was a bajillion years until a new season came out, and I never watched the new season, never read any of it, but just from the first season, it was pretty solid. I would say it was B tier. Like, it wasn't as good to me as the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan, but then Attack on Titan kind of, again, reading the manga between second and third season and stuff, I just felt like it declined so much that it's there for me. Also, for me, with Attack on Titan, there's sort of the hype factor to take into account for a lot of these, or the underrated, overrated factor, where there can be something that's kind of okay or pretty good, but if it's pretty good and everyone is like, oh no, it's nothing, it's not that good, or it's boring, it makes me like it more because I'm like, no, you are underrating this. You do not know what you're talking about. This is actually really good. But if there's something that's getting hyped up and overrated when it's just kind of okay, that kind of makes me like it less. And that kind of happened with Attack on Titan for me, where people were just hyping it up so much, but it's like, I'm watching it and reading it, and it's good, it's okay, it's maybe like B tier quality, but you're overhyping it so much that it's kind of making me like it a bit less personally, because it's not like that great. After that's Boruto. I want to watch Boruto. I've read like 1 or 2 chapters. I want to watch it. I've actually in my own time been trying to rewatch Naruto, but it's just one of those things where I watch an episode every once in a while because I'm just like, it's so daunting. It's like I don't have time to watch 1,000 episodes of this, but I guess if I watch an episode here or there, maybe I'll catch up before I die. I think a lot of people are probably feeling that with some of these long-running shows. So I'm like maybe 90 some episodes into Naruto, rewatching it after like a year or so. But yeah, Boruto, I really, really, really want to watch it, but I have not. And I would rather watch than read, because to me, I feel like, I don't know, usually I like watching more. It depends on the series, but I usually like watching more. Plus, this is going to sound sadistic and weird. For most series, I like filler. I like just the little moments that add more into who the characters are and just give us just these little side story adventures with them. That being said, Naruto's filler wasn't actually that bad. It was alright. Naruto Shippuden's filler was ass. It was really bad. But yeah, I want to watch Boruto. Just haven't got around to it. Now it looks like we got, is that DBZ? Or no, that's DBZ. Is that Super or GT? I can't tell. It's really, really small. I think it might be Super. If it is, I haven't watched it. DBZ I haven't watched since I was a child, like a literal 5 to 8 year old child. It would come on at like 4 something in the afternoon after school every day, and I'd watch it every day. I had all these models, all these toys. The ones like with the that you had to put together, and they had like the weird latexy clothes. I had like all of those. But it's just one of those things where I got older, where I was like, this is goofy and silly and not that great. But I feel like it being goofy and silly and not that great is kind of part of the point of it. I'm going to put it in haven't watched, because though I watched it a ton as a kid, and though I remember a ton about like the Namek arc and the Cell saga and all that, I don't think I remember it well enough to give it a score or anything, because I remember it as being something that I loved as a kid, but as an adult it's just kind of cheesy. Checking my recording really quick. Alright, so we have Death Note, which is kind of very different from a lot of these battle shonen. Death Note is good though. I, again, haven't watched it since probably like late high school, early college. Let me get some water. My voice is dying on me. So yeah, I haven't watched it in like years upon years, but or at least it was, really, really, really good for the time. So I'm going to put it in A tier just for the time, because I thought it was amazing. It was the first time I watched an anime that was like that. Yeah, I'll put it in A tier, just because it's been a while. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, easy S tier. I mean, I think anybody would put Brotherhood in S tier, and I'm not even the biggest Full Metal Alchemist fan. Like, I'm pretty okay with it, but it's just that when you go back to it, you can go back and watch it at any time, and the quality is just insanely good all the way through. Like, beginning to end, the quality is amazing. Fairy Tail I like. Not sure where to put it, but I like it. Um, I would say maybe A tier. I'd say it's a step above those. Because here's the thing, just like with Bleach, it's not very good, but it has a fun world, fun characters, fun power system. It's I'm actually going to put it above Death Note because of that. Just because if you told me to go back and rewatch Death Note, I'd be like, it was really, really great the first time when I didn't know what was going to happen, but now that I know the story already, it doesn't have as much rewatchability. Fairy Tail, just like Bleach, just like Naruto, so much of that, even One Piece is like bubblegum content where I can just watch an episode of it and be like, oh, that was nice. Just get into the characters, get into the world, and I don't really need to focus too heavily on the story or anything. So yeah, just like Bleach, the story really isn't that great, but it's just fun. That's something. Something can be really, really, really good, but no fun. And something can be not that great. It's like an Adam Sandler movie. Not that great, but fun. So yeah, that's where Fairy Tail is for me. It's not that great, but it's just so fun. Uh, After that, is that is that Gintama? I can't read from here. Oh my god. I think it's Gintama. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm gonna put it in haven't watched. Sorry everybody who's gonna get on my case. I have not watched any Gintama before. Except I've seen some of the openings. Sakura Mitsutsuki is just such a great song, so of course I've seen that opening. But yeah, haven't actually watched it. Haven't watched Haikyuu. I figure it's one of the. There's so many of these series that are just things where I'm like, I'll figure I'll get into it eventually. But I just haven't had time for. Hajime no Ippo is in the same boat. Same with JoJo's. JoJo's, though, I've been waiting to watch or read like for the channel. And that, again, sort of changes things too. Because there are certain series where it's like, I could try to get into them, but I want to wait until I have time to watch or read them for the channel. That's how I was with Black Clover for a while, which is why I didn't really get as into it, or like why I haven't caught up to it yet. But rather than do it for the channel, I kind of just want to do it on my own time now. But JoJo's is the same way, where if I do it, I feel like there's so much interest in it that I would want to do it for the channel and share my journey with all of you. So that's why I haven't done it yet. Hunter x Hunter is amazing, one of my favorites of all time. I was a massive, massive Yu Yu Hakusho fan, so when I first saw it, I was like, you know, I'm not really going to like this as much as Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm going to think of it as this thing that's more hyped up, but takes attention away from this other amazing series that deserves the hype. But no, Hunter x Hunter is amazing. I don't, I don't know where to put it. Hunter x Hunter is also an anime where I feel like it's better the more anime you've seen. And me and a friend in college talked about this, about Hunter x Hunter, where we're like, usually for most anime, the more you've seen, the less good you're going to find them. Like, if you've seen like 20 shows, Bleach isn't going to really stand out as all that special. Bleach was like the first or second anime I ever watched as an adult, when I got back into it when I was like 17 or 18. So that's why Bleach is different for me. But it's one of those things where the more you watch, the less something's going to be like, oh, that's so new and impressive. But Hunter x Hunter is just so different. I can't even explain why, but it's just so different from your other shonen that it feels like the more you've watched and been like, oh yeah, I know this trope, I've seen this a bunch of times, the more it just stands out and has an impact on you. I'm going to put it at the bottom of S tier for now, just because I personally really, really love these two. But I also really love Hunter x Hunter, and the quality is amazing. It's on hiatus forever, though, so I don't know when we'll ever get to see any more of it. But yeah, I have watched and read. Rurouni Kenshin, I haven't read, and I only watched as a child. I loved Rurouni Kenshin as a kid. Again, it came on Cartoon Network when I was a kid. I don't remember Adult Swim or not, but it was amazing. I loved it. What was his name? Sansa was always my favorite. But I'm going to put it in haven't watched just because, again, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's not like when I got back into anime via Naruto and Bleach when I was like 17 or 18, I went back and rewatched like Outlaw Star, which is one of my favorites of all time, still to this day, and Yu Yu Hakusho, again, still one of my favorites to this day. But I never really went back and watched Rurouni Kenshin again. Um, is that? Oh God, I don't remember what the name was. Is it Slam Dunk or is it Kuroko no Basket? I think that's, yeah, that's Kuroko no Basket. I can see the little katakana down there. Haven't watched it. Sorry. Hero Academia, top of A or bottom of S. I don't know. Again, it's one of the things where it's not a perfect series. It just isn't a perfect series, but I love the world. I love the characters. I think the quality is actually definitely better than Bleach or Fairy Tail, at least. I really, really, really enjoy Hero Academia. A lot. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it's maybe the show that I've rewatched the most when you consider reactions, because I've probably watched like 100 different reaction series, so I've basically seen the anime like 100 times over, and I still don't get bored of it somehow. So actually, given that, maybe it should be at the top. It is very, very good though. Quality wise, writing wise, I don't think it's perfect, but I do really, really love it and really think it's good. Um, and just personal enjoyment wise, I really, really think it's amazing. So yeah, actually top of S tier for right now. Uh, Original Naruto. Original Naruto is very, very good. There are things about it I like more than Shippuden, but that might be just nostalgia speaking, because I watched it as a kid. It just started coming on and went through like the tuning exams and stuff before I fell out of watching anime as a kid. But then as an adult, it was one of the first things I went back to. I've rewatched it maybe twice since then. Um, and again, I love the world. It's very not very good. There are certain things that I think are worse than Bleach, certain things that I think are better than Bleach, but the writing has always been very hit and miss. For every amazing story like Itachi's or Nagato's, there's just shit characters like Sakura and Sasuke, and a lot of people are going to get pissed off at me saying that, especially about Sasuke, but they're just not very good. Um, yeah, I still really like Naruto though. Definitely more than Fairy Tail. I don't know if I would put it in S tier. Um, Actually, I might, because even though it's full of filler at the end, I enjoyed the filler for regular Naruto. I just, again, felt like it just added more missions, it gave more development to the random Konoha 11 characters that never get any other development. Um, so yeah, it's pretty solid. Not as good as Hunter x Hunter, though. Um, then Seven Deadly Sins. I've only watched the first season, I haven't read any of the manga, and I thought it was okay. I thought a lot of the things about it were great, but it just went really, really heavy on the romance stuff, and like 80 to 90% of the romance stuff, I did not give a shit about. Um, I just feel like it wasted a lot of time with the romance stuff, and except for like the Bond stuff, most of it was not very good. So I'm putting it below I'll put it above Attack on Titan in C tier. Because again, it's not terrible, just not great. Um, Noragami I haven't seen. One Piece totally depends on, like, pre-time skip is S plus tier. Easily transcends all of these. Post-time skip One Piece, mid is all hell most of the time. Like, as much as I love it, as much as the series is near and dear to my heart, and I still do videos on it and read it week to week and love and enjoy it week to week, I can admit it is not the same as it once was. Like, it's pretty good. I'm overreacting by saying mid is all hell. It is pretty good. It is still at the level of Hero Academia or any of these others. But, God, it just, when you think about how good it was pre-time skip, all of the post-time skip stuff, just the flanderization and uselessness of the Straw Hats 90% of the time other than Luffy, like, it just, Oda, you're massacring my boy. Like, as much as I still love it week to week, there's just such a huge gap between pre and post time skip, and it's such a quick transition too. It's like every single arc to me, pre-time skip is amazing. I don't think there's a single arc that I wouldn't say isn't amazing pre-time skip. Then we get to post-time skip. Fishman Island dragged on way too long, wasn't that great. Punk Hazard was a lot better. Dressrosa was extremely hit and miss, but you could tell toward the end that there were a bunch of chapters where literally nothing happened because Oda was stretching that shit out to get to the 100 chapter mark. Then Zoe happened, and Zoe was amazing. We got the Whole Cake. Whole Cake again was just hit and miss. And then early Wano was not very good. Onigashima, though, has again turned things around and has been great. So yeah, it's so hit and miss. It has its amazing, great moments post-time skip, but post-time skip it drags the series down for me so much because it is such a departure from how perfectly amazing pre-time skip was. Still definitely going above Naruto, though. But yeah, if we're talking pre-time skip, it's above and beyond all of these. It's like S++. But if we're counting the entirety of the series, I would put it there, just because even though I think it's definitely better than Bleach writing-wise, I personally identify with Bleach's world and characters a little bit more. So yeah, One Piece rant over. Moving on to One Punch Man. I loved the first season, never watched it after that. The first season I gave a 10 out of 10 review to, but I never really had any will to watch it anymore after that. So I would say A tier is fair. If you were to tell me which one would I recommend people go to, I would actually recommend Death Note above One Punch Man, though. So even though I gave it a 10 out of 10 review, it's going in A tier. I'll have to continue it or read it or something at some point. Hitman Reborn, S tier for me. It was amazing. I watched it during college and it was one of my favorite things ever. I loved my experience with it. It was a real slow burn, unlike a lot of these other ones. And I loved the slow, gradual build-up of it. I like it personally more than Hunter x Hunter. But I would say maybe less than Bleach. So yeah, I've watched it. I don't think I've read everything there is to read for it. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, though. I might actually be putting Brotherhood too high, but Brotherhood's amazing. So, Naruto Shippuden, I think, again, this is an anime tier list. Manga, again, it's still just Naruto. There is less difference between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden than there is between pre- and post-time skip One Piece. The story for the canon stuff is relatively the same, but the filler for Shippuden is unbearable most of the time, and like a solid probably nearly half the series is filler, and it just cuts in between important things. It has nothing to do with anything. Some of it is very, very, very clearly non-canon. It's just not great. Like, I'm gonna be rewatching the rest of Naruto and Shippuden, and I want to review them like every 20 episodes or so, or every arc or something. So you'll see reviews of the two of them. But yeah, I think Shippuden's just a definite step down from the original series. When it comes to the canon stuff is roughly the same, but the filler is much, much worse. I think that's a fair place to put it, though. Yeah, I can, maybe above One Punch Man. Yeah, I'd put it like there. Just because, again, One Punch Man was great for 12 episodes. I've heard Season 2 wasn't as good. But with Shippuden, you could just sit and watch 500 episodes if you need something to sit down and watch. And it might not always be as good as One Punch Man, but it'll be fun. And there's a lot more content there. Soul Eater is a personal love of mine. It's a shame Fire Force isn't here. Fire Force is incredibly slept on. I'm going to be reviewing it soon. It's incredibly underrated, even by me at first. The first, arc or two in Fire Force, I wasn't really into. But then after that, it gets so amazing, and I kind of wish more people would have stuck with it, because after that first arc or two, which is, the weakest arc, it just is nothing but straight, all hits, no misses from there. And Soul Eater was great. I think Soul Eater is S tier for me. I don't know if I'd put it above Naruto, definitely not above One Piece, because, again, as much complaints as I have about One Piece post time skip, it's still S tier. It's still very, very good. It's just not as good as what I know it could be because it was once that good. Soul Eater's amazing though. I love Soul Eater. Promised Neverland. I've read all of it, watched the first season. The second season's coming out soon. I personally loved it. I would say A tier. Now, I do think after the first arc, it drops off a little bit, and then we get the Goldie Pond arc, which is amazing, and then it drops off a bit, and then the final arc is pretty alright too. So it has two really great arcs with some kind of mess stuff between, and the final arc is pretty alright. But in general, I really, really liked it. More than One Punch Man. I don't think I'd put it higher than Shippuden, because again, I'm letting the manga and what I'm predicting for the future of the anime sort of shape my opinion here. I don't think I'd put it above Shippuden just because, again, there's a lot more content there, and though some of the content might be misses, there are enough hits that it's worth watching, you know? And then finally, Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh my god, it might be top of S tier. It's so good. If you haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, even though it has aged, you should still watch it. It's amazing. It's so good. I love it more than... Even though I came to love Hunter x Hunter, it still doesn't hold a candle to Yu Yu Hakusho for me. It's definitely better than Bleach. It's the original Bleach. Better than Brotherhood even, to me. Like, the anime's so solid. It's so good. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put things. I know so many people are going to complain about Hero Academia as my second highest rated shonen here. But yeah, none of these were bad. I know that that's not exciting for people, that I didn't just shit on any of these. None of these are bad, though. C is fair. Attack on Titan and Seven Deadly Sins are not bad. I just haven't seen all of them, and they're not that great. Black Clover I haven't seen all of, or same with Blue Exorcist. But again, they're both pretty good from what I have seen. I think One Punch Man is good. I think Promised Neverland's good. Naruto Shippuden is good, except for the fillers are pretty god-awful most of the time. Death Note is actually really good. I would almost move it up into S tier and then move all these to S plus tier. Fairy Tail also isn't that great, but is super, super fun. And that's why it's so high for me, is just, it's such a fun show to watch, even when it's not very good. And then all of these are both good and fun. Bleach is questionable. Soul Eater's really good and extremely fun. Naruto is good and fun. One Piece is amazing. Amazing. I don't really, again, I complained about post-time skip stuff, but it doesn't stop One Piece from being amazing. Especially like I said, I mentioned it arc by arc, kind of the ups and downs of the post-time skip, and we're on an up right now with the Onigashima stuff. Hunter x Hunter, again, amazing quality, plus very fun. Hitman Reborn is really, really good too. I love the slow burn storytelling, plus it's extremely, extremely fun, or at least it was to me. Bleach, I think, is the weakest of all these S tiers when it comes to story, but I got so deep and involved with it that I have to put it in S tier. Brotherhood's just amazing. I think in terms of fun, it might be one of the least fun of these, but it's still very fun. But it's so high up because the quality is just insanely, insanely good all the way through. Hero Academia, it must be insanely fun because I've watched it a million times over. Plus, it is really good. It's not perfect, but it is really good. And then Yu Yu Hakusho is just the best. Go watch Yu Yu Hakusho. So, that is it for my Shonen anime tier list. And if Fire Force was here, because that was the only one I could think of that was left out, if Fire Force was here, I would put it... Let me think. I would put Fire Force maybe somewhere around One Piece and Naruto. Below Hunter x Hunter, above Soul Eater, somewhere around One Piece and Naruto, I'd put Fire Force. Again, it's very, very underrated. But that is it. Like if you did like the video, and tell me how wrong I am in the comments. Yeah, comment down there. Tell me what you think of all these series, what your thoughts are on them, what you thought of my thoughts on them. Again, take into account that I haven't watched or read all of these, but I tried to be as upfront about all of that as I possibly could. So yeah, just tell me what you think. I'll try to leave a link to this somewhere in the comments or description. If you would like to sub, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to follow on Twitter or ask for a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. And also, if you want to help support the channel on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or there will be a link in the description. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.